pissed. It's time for me to take a serious look at how full of myself I've been acting. No, Shannon! I forgot. I'm furniture. Furniture isn't human. So I am a being who must feel gratitude for even being treated like a human. And I am not permitted to wish for anything more. People sometimes develop affection for furniture they're used to using. But that is an emotion on the human side, and the furniture has no right to hope for such a thing. It's enough that furniture serves with simple honesty day to day. That feeling I got when talking to George-sama and Jessica-sama is the same as a forbidden drug to me. In other words, it may be an emotion I must never experience.
Shannon, 先ほどからぼんやりが過ぎます。体調でも悪いのですか？
いえ、失礼いたしました。
Natsu's words were right on the mark. Even Shannon couldn't believe that she hadn't noticed Natsu until she had called. Normally, it was essential that she focus on her cleaning at this time of day. But she spent all her time sighing and hardly making any progress.
たとえお客様がおられなくても、常に気を張っていなくてはなりません。そんな様では、後宮家に仕える使用人として情けありませんよ。
はい、以後注意します。
もうじき当主様と主人がお帰りになられます。書斎の清掃は済んでいますか？階段の清掃は済んでいますか？
申し訳ございません。
Aw, Shannon.
ええ、知っています。
Yes, I know.
ですからルノンにやらせておきました。あなたがもたもたと廊下を清掃している時間で、彼女は書斎と階段の清掃を済ませてしまいましたよ。
それは丁寧にお掃除をしていたから時間がかかってしまって。
Shannon was simple and honest, so she would always carry out her tasks seriously and properly without any omissions. So she was always slow with her work. In contrast, Lunon cleverly avoided doing extra work whenever it was possible. So she could complete her jobs with a result that looked almost the same to an outsider, but in a much shorter time. In other words, she was a shrewd employee. Compared to that, it's probably fair to say that Shannon wasn't very shrewd at all, talking back to Natsu when Natsu was in a bad mood. Of course, there was nothing that Natsu couldn't stand more than a servant talking back. Her forehead creased and she spoke sternly. And yet her slow, admonishing style of speech was even more terrifying, and finally made Shannon realize she had said the wrong thing.
ならば、存分に丁寧な清掃を心がけなさい。シャノン、あなたにこのまま大広間の清掃も命じます。当主様の大切な絵画が多数飾られ、後宮家への賓客をお招きすることもある。誇り一つ残さないよう、あなたが納得するまで丁寧に清掃なさい。もちろん今日中にです。それを終えて私に報告するまで食事も休憩も許しません。わかりましたね？
はい、奥様。
結構。使用人はその言葉だけを口にするように。次の口答えにはより厳しい罰を与えますから、そのつもりで。よく胸に刻んでおきなさい。
はい、奥様。ご指導をありがとうございます。
どういたしまして。
Behaving as though her headache was troubling her, Natsu headed off down the corridor. When she couldn't see her anymore, Shannon hung her head and sighed. This is what happened when she had her head in the clouds. Even though I'm bad at everything I do, I should be able to at least carry out the cleaning as well as an average person can, right? It's because I can't even perform that very well that I'm crying so pathetically. Damn. But what's even more shameful is that not only have I been unable to perform a single bit of cleaning well, but just now when Natsu was scolding me, I imagined that person appearing and rescuing me. And you know he would too. If only George-sama were here, would he casually step in and save me? Surely he'd show up cheerfully, intentionally acting like he didn't know what was going on. Nimbly change the subject and make me forget I'd ever been rebuked by Natsu. I kept envisioning him, suddenly appearing from the other side of the door, or the other end of the hallway. I envisioned the kind of person that would be an appropriate partner for him in a marriage meeting. I envisioned how unfitting I was for him, Ava clearly told me. Ava can suck a fucking cock, alright? Her opinion doesn't fucking matter. It's been repeating over and over in my dreams.
姉さんは相変わらず不器用だね。奥様は今朝から虫の居所が悪い。黙ってうなずいていればいいものを余計なことを言うから。
カノン君。
Cannon was suddenly there. His footsteps were always quieter than a cat's, and he never left any trace of his presence. He probably could have stood there forever, and she still wouldn't have noticed him. The expression on Cannon's face was one of hatred. Don't you be hating on my queen, alright? Nazi's just trying to do her best, goddammit. He made that expression for Shannon, who didn't know how to do it herself.
奥様もそしてルノも地獄
Oh,
の
you
地
fucking stop with that speech.
あいつは奥様がどこをチェックするか知っててそこしか掃除しない。さっきの掃除もそうだった。見ていたから知ってる。本当の意味での掃除なんか丁寧に掃除する姉さんに寄生してるだけの最低なやつだ。
そんな汚い言葉を使ってはダメよ。
Yeah, whoever the fuck Lunon is, like, yeah, sure, I don't care about them, but don't you dare be fucking hurling insults at Nazi, alright?
汚い言葉はカノン君の綺麗な魂まで
Something
汚
tells
し
me
てしま
Cannon's
う。
soul isn't the cleanest.
だからせめて私の前ではそんな言葉遣いをしないでね。
Cannon turned away as though sulking. It was a reaction that hid his true feelings, which was very like Cannon, but I was a little happy. He was getting mad for my sake.
大広間の掃除は大変だよ。僕も手伝う。
ありがとう。でも奥様に命じられたのはカノン君にも自分のお仕事があるんでしょ。
汚らわしい仕事だよ。僕の魂なんてとっくに汚れてる。
Cannon then hung his head and bit his lower lip.
手伝ってくれるという言葉だけで私は十分。カノン君も自分の仕事に戻らないとあなたまで罰を受けることになっちゃう。そしたら私は悲しい。
Shannon knew Cannon's character well. Sometimes he didn't think enough about himself. If I don't refuse forcefully, he'll help me even if it means neglecting his own job. Cannon was a little sad that his goodwill had been rejected, but he realized that what he was doing would only hurt her more in the end, and he gave a single small sigh.
わかったよ。姉さんも頑張って。
それに私にも責任はあるから。
姉さんには責任なんて何もないよ。
あるの。だからもう言って。
Get the fuck out of here. Cannon's face showed that he still hadn't completely accepted it, but without being any more obstinate, he disappeared. Even though Cannon-kun came to give me words of comfort when I was down. Even so, I was dejected again, because it wasn't him. That, in itself, was a sin. It went far beyond any dream the likes of me could be permitted to see. I don't know my place. Shannon, who had neglected breakfast, already got damn it. It keeps going between her thoughts and then like whoever the narrator is. Shannon, who had neglected breakfast, already felt her concentration beginning to waver. But if she didn't finish up cleaning the reception hall, she wouldn't receive Nazi's permission to eat. That cruel Nazi had surely told the kitchen something to that effect. Don't call Nazi cruel, goddammit. Obviously Nazi doesn't know the fucking backstory. Like, I'm certain if she would have said something like, I'm sorry, you know, I wouldn't be this way if, you know, Ava hadn't scolded me earlier. Nazi would have been like, who? Who? Who scolded my servants? Whose ass do I need to whoop? You know, Nazi, like, the moment she knew, like, Ava was involved in any aspect, like, oh yeah, you know, Shannon wouldn't be acting this way if it weren't for Ava. And Nazi would be like, oh? Oh? Like, she'd still have to save face and still, you know, quote-unquote punish her servants. She'd have to, alright? That's just part of the gig. But you know, the moment she found out Ava was involved, she'd be going to Ava like, what the fuck you do, huh? You think you just fucking do that to my servants? You think you can put them in that state? I have to punish my servants now because you fucked them up. What the hell's wrong with you? Fuck you, bitch. That's why I love Nazi. She's amazing. I have to respectfully receive Madam's punishment. That's right. My position in the world is furniture, and I've been intoxicated by a dream that's beyond me. I finished cleaning the hallway and went to the reception hall. Maybe my hunger made my nose more sensitive. I could sense a delicious aroma wafting from the kitchen, even though it was far away, and my empty stomach was encouraged even more. Until I finished up here, I wouldn't get any soup. I just had to resolve myself to doing it. Several portraits were hung in the reception hall. Okay, now this makes sense. Now this makes sense. This image right here. Because, like I remember, because in episode 1, they said that, like, the plaque hung somewhere below the epitaph hung somewhere below the painting. I'm like, I'm not seeing any plaque anywhere fitting all that text underneath this painting at all. This makes a lot more sense. There's this little fucking, like, podium thing over here that's got the plaque on it, and, like, yeah, no, there's plenty of space for text on that. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Because I'm thinking, like, there's gotta be, like, some kind of inscription. I thought the inscription was, like, somewhere on, like, the painting frame itself, like, at the bottom. I'm like, there's no way you're fitting all of this on just the fucking, like, right down here. Like, not a chance. But yeah, like I said, this makes a lot more sense. One of those portraits was thought to hold a special meaning amongst the servants. Beatrice. It was the portrait of the witch. That wasn't its true name, but everyone in the mansion called it that. The name of the woman with elegant blonde hair drawn as the subject of that portrait was Beatrice. It was whispered that she might be the former mistress of Kinzo, the family head, and also that she was the great witch who had given Kinzo the gold of the legend. The witch Beatrice, master of the night on Rokenjima. She was gracious to those who respected her, but she would surely curse those who made light of her. Yeah, you don't want to make light of the master of the night. That's just rude. It was in Shannon's character not to neglect rules and beliefs such as those. So she thought of the portrait of her other master as that person herself, and always treated it carefully, treasuring it. And it had become part of her daily routine to tell the witch, who only existed inside the portrait, the secrets of her heart. Oh yeah? She only exists inside the portrait. Yeah, sure. Definitely believe you. She was furniture. Furniture doesn't complain. Cannot complain. So she had no right to speak her mind about her difficult days. She had no right to open her mouth and say those words. So, she at least spoke her mind inside her heart. She spoke her mind inside her heart, using words she couldn't say aloud, and protested to the formless witch. Of course, the witch didn't answer. She didn't console, and she didn't laugh it off. Shannon could only interpret that silence as she liked, as though the witch was responding agreeably.
ベアトリーチェ様、みすぼらしい私の話を聞いてください。
As Shannon wiped the dust from the witch's portrait, she spoke that inside her heart.
私は確かにエヴァ様の言う通り、
Now, Eva-sama can chop dicks. When are you going to learn this, Shannon?
人じゃない。
You're much more of a person than Ava will ever be.
だから恋をする資格などないか
You
も
have
しれま
much
せん。
more right to love than Ava ever will.
でもだったらどうして恋を知ることので
At
き
least you
る
have a
心など
heart.
お与えになったのでしょうか。
At that point, Shannon held back her tears for a moment. The sound of the rain, which had started falling, along with the chill air in the reception hall, made her feel as though her shabbiness had increased another level.
本当の家具なら心なんかない。
So does that mean you're not real furniture? And Ava is?
だから人を愛したりしなくて済むじゃないですか。だから苦しまない。私も同じ家具なのにこんな苦しくて辛い思いをするなら
Interesting
こんな
phrasing.
心なんて
I'm worried that's going to end up being something later.
なるほど。家具に心を与えたか。あれも時には愉快なことをする。
The witch that never answered or laughed. Answered. And laughed. Was it my imagination? Was I hearing things? No, that's wrong. After all, the next words became a voice, and I could hear them not with my heart, but with my ears.
人間は世界を構成する元素について紀元前の昔から探求を続けてきた。古代ギリシャ人たちは風、火、水、土の4つで世界の説明を試みたという。その後も数千年かけて人間たちはその4つにさまざまな元素を加え、5代、6代、7代、8代、12代とさまざまな解釈で世界を説明しようとしたが、
12. I mean, shit, how many elements we got on the periodic table right now?
唯一の真実である一なる元素を説明することはできなかった。
Is it love?
しかし星の導きによって現れた一人の男が
I swear, it's either gonna be like love or magic
世
or some
界を構
stupid
成
shit.
す
Yeah.
る一なる元素
Now
を
I should be like,
説明
no,
した。
carbon, idiot.
何かわかるか？
Shannon fearfully turned around. Oh shit! Right there, she existed. Oh, that's right. At the beginning of that is true. At the beginning of in the episode description before you even started, it said like the witch is going on the offensive ASAP, like from the jump. She's not taking her time anymore. It says something like that, right? So she just coming straight out, be like, "What's up, bitch? We doing this? Let's go." Not as an illusion, but as a reality. The contrast made by the lightning made it clear that this was no mere daydream.
それは愛よ。
I'm not a fan of Beatrice's voice. I think Beatrice herself, the character model, looks great. Mwah. But, I don't like this deep voice of hers. It's like, huh. Ugh. Like that's definitely, you know, closer to a witch's cackle for sure, but the witch of the portrait elegantly held a golden pipe to her mouth and giggled. She laughed at the ignorance that causes humankind's thoughts to stray far from the most simple answer. Wait, actually, yeah, she said something. I wasn't paying attention. Ah, it's love. I fucking knew it. God damn. It's love. Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What'd I tell you? First guest. Fucking knew it. It's love. It's fucking love. Of course, the single element that makes the world go around. It's love. It's love. I fucking called it. Suck my dick.
その男は世界のすべてを愛で説明した。それこそが一なる元素。男は最小の数で世界の構成を説明しきったのだ。なんとも単純明快にして豪快爽快愉快痛快。
God, like, I can't get over it. It just feels like her voice doesn't match her image at all. And like, I don't mean even this sprite specifically. Like, I'm thinking back to like the other sprites, and it's like I couldn't see this voice matching up with it very well. Like, one sec. I'm actually gonna fucking open the page here. Beatrice sprites. I could potentially see it matching up with the original. But yeah, no, like, I'm looking at the console sprites right now, and I can't imagine this voice coming out of this person. The PC one, the original sprites, like, I could definitely see like a lower voice, more this kind of voice coming out of it. But even then, it's like ah. I don't know. I just, whatever. Let's keep going.
やがてその男の生まれた年は西暦紀元と
Shannon lost any words to speak. She thought that when first meeting an unknown guest, her first words should be to ask that person's name, but she already knew this guest's name. Without saying anything, Shannon knew this person's name, so she refrained. No, surely it would be the greatest disrespect for someone who lived or worked on this island to ask this woman her name. When, especially since, you know, she's kind of standing right next to a certain portrait that could kind of spells out who she is. After all, she was the other master of this island besides Kinzo.
ベアトリーチェ様。
いかにもわらわがベアトリーチェで
God, I don't like this voice.
千年を経ても人がわらわを見て最初に浮かべる表情は変わらんな。
The witch giggled at how Shannon's reaction didn't betray her expectations. Shannon realized that she had met with a being that mustn't be met with, and took a step backwards. That's where the wall and the portrait were, so even as she gazed at the witch's portrait was touching her back.
お前の悩みは愛ゆえよ。
I mean, that's true.
それはすなわち世界の一なる元素。つまりこの世のすべてだ。
Ho ho ho.
それが満たされぬということは世界が満たされぬに同じこと。それは穴の開いた水筒に水を汲み続けるのに似ている。汲めども汲めども満たされぬ永遠の心の砂漠。人間の基礎にして全てにして現在。わかるか？知識の実を口にしたアダムとイブが知ったのは愛だったのだ。それを知ったがゆえに人は楽園を追われ人たり得たのだ。すなわちそれは愛を知り苦しむからこそ人であること心優しき娘よ、そなたは誇っていい。それを知った今そなたはもはや家具にあらず。そなたは今こそ我が名にかけてそれを認めようぞ。
Oh.
凡庸の身には理解も辛き話か。まあよいわ。許すがいい。久しぶりに人間と話すのでな。饒舌が過ぎたことを謝ろう。
Without waiting for a reply from Shannon, Beatrice laughed pleasantly for a while.
詫びと言ってはなんだが、わらわの力でそなたのその願望を叶えてやってもよいぞ。
Oh. The meaning of those words surprised Shannon even more than the witch's sudden appearance.
そなたを思い人と添い遂げさせてやってもよいと言っている。本来ならばそれに見合うだけの対価を要求するところだがわらわは機嫌が良い。それにそなたはわらわへの礼を欠かさず今日までよく尽くした。それへの褒美としてやってもよい。
本当ですか？
Normally, Shannon would have been shocked and struck dumb by this seemingly impossible guess. However, almost as though she was already under the witch's spell, Shannon responded.
わらわの魔法にかかれば思い人と結ばれるように取り計らうなど造作もない。
Yes, of course. Shannon almost said that without thinking, but held back with her last bit of common sense. After all, this is a witch. A sinister being. The witch Beatrice is clearly trying to slip in through the cracks in my heart and take me prisoner. That sort of temptation, which so many fairy tale picture books warned me about when I was young, is right in front of me now. God damn it.
イフもまた敬いの一つよ。心地よくはあるがこれでは拉致が開かぬな。わらわは確かに そなたらが意味嫌う魔女像から離れは
Of
せ
course you
ぬ
don't differ much from the image of the witch. You're standing right next to the image of the witch. You don't differ at all.
だがわらわは敬う者には好意を返す。それは人間も同じであろう。そのように身構えられて好意を返せる人間もまたおらぬと思うが。
失礼しました。そんなつもりは。
Shannon eventually realized how rude she was acting towards this guest, and she finally digested the words that had been spoken to her a short while ago. You are no longer furniture. Now you are human. As she reflected upon those words, Shannon felt as though the witch understood all her worries.
さっきの褒美の話って何ですか？
お前がその心を虜にする男と結ばれるように取り計らってもいいと言っている。わらわの肖像画を日々丹念に磨いてくれたことへの礼とでも思うがよい。安心せよ。対価は求めぬ。
Yeah, that's what's kind of worrying, is the fact that you asked for nothing in return. That means there's something's going wrong. Generous,
だ
sure.
がな、対価は求めぬが、
Yeah, here it
頼
comes.
みがある。
I asked for nothing, but I do have a small request, which is, asking for something. Look, here it comes. Part of Shannon's heart sent her a warning. This is what all those scary picture books she read when she was little had warned her about.
この島のすぐ近くの海に岩が覗き、そこに小さな鳥居と祠が設けてあるのを知っているか？
Oh. Shannon immediately remembered it. When you reached Rokinjima by boat, there was a torii and a shrine on a reef that was too small to be called even an islet. I'm pretty sure Kumasawa-san told me its history, but I can't remember it well. Traveling Shugenja, a kind of holy man, had built it or prayed there or something.
ええ、知っていますが、それが何か？
魔に通じぬものに一から説明はせぬ。早い話がだな。あれには参っておるのだ。
So I'm guessing it goes back to like that picture being the key. I mean mirror, not picture. It goes back to that mirror being the key, and breaking that mirror is is what I'm guessing starts the series of Twilights, or at least frees Beatrice to the point where she is able to begin the Twilights, so that when the family conference actually rolls around and Kinzo throws out his ring and says, "Start the games, bitch," then she can then start the games, bitch.
実はな、あの祠の中にある鏡が収められている。それをそなたに割ってほしいというのだ。
It was quite a suspicious request. Yes, it is. Shannon didn't know the details, but anything stored inside a shrine would have to be something sacred. And she wants me to break it? Why would a witch ask a human for help, instead of doing it herself? There was no need for Shannon to speak her thoughts aloud. Beatrice responded to Shannon's reasonable doubt before Shannon could give her answer.
あの鏡の魔力は、わらわの魔力と相対する。人の言葉でうまく説明できぬな。例えれば、食器の違いとでも言おうか。あの鏡はフォークで、わらわの力
My
は
mirror is
ス
a
ープ
fork,
なの
and
だ。
my power is soup. Quite the analogy.
フォークでスープは飲めまい？
You can, it's just gonna be very fucking slow. Just lick off the tiny droplets that appear at the fucking base of the fork.
あの鏡の押し付けさえなければ、わらわはスープを飲むのにぴったりのスプーンが用意できるというわけだ。それさえあれば、スープも飲めるし、岩ろうだって掘り抜けるぞ。目玉だってえぐり貫ける。だったか？
Oh. Yikes. Huh. Yeah, good old... it was Gouge the Eyes one of the Twilights? There's so many gougings going on in the Twilights. No, head, chest, stomach, knee, leg. There's no gouging the eyes. Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me at all. It's like, oh yeah, more gouging.
何の話かわかりません。私の無教養のせいだとしたら謝ります。
こういうことだ。
Listen, break the fucking mirror, kid.
あの忌々しい鏡をその褒美としてそなたの願いを叶えてやるということだ。今日のわらわは本当に機嫌がいい。そなたが望むなら願い事を変えて金蔵に授けた黄金を丸ごとくれてやることにしてもよいぞ。
And it cuts back and she's... Oh!
お断りします。
Oh! Shannon! Okay. Okay. I'm guessing what happens is she refuses now, but then she goes on that little date with George and that changes her mind, and then she ends up going back to that Tori shrine.
なんと。
Oh, she big angry. When she heard Shannon's words, Beatrice realized for the first time that her expectations had been betrayed.
理由があれば聞かせよ。
'Cause fuck
誤
you.
解があるなら解こうぞ。
理由でも今日までこの島は平和で何も起こりませんでした。なら鏡を割らなくても今日までと同じ平和がこれから
Wow.
も続いてい
She's
くは
slanging
ず
them
です。
accusations. She's like, listen, if I fucking help you out, you're gonna fucking destroy the peace that exists here. And she's not wrong. She's not wrong at all. But she's just straight up saying it like that. So apparently that date with George was so good that she's like, you know what? Fuck this island. Let the games begin. Give me my man.
なるほどなるほど。そなたの言う通りだ。あれを割らぬなら割れぬ今日までと同じ日々が明日も明後日も続こうぞ。わらわが絶対の保証をしようではないか。ベアトリーチェの名にかけて言う。割れぬ今日までと同じ日々が明日も明後日も続こうぞ。
I don't like this voice.
それは永久に永遠に。
I get it, she's a witch, and that's probably the voice they're going for, is what you would stereotypically associate with a witch. Alright, but looking at this woman in front of me, I do not, I do not expect to hear out of this motherfucker. Shannon felt overwhelmed by an eerie illusion. The mirror probably existed for the purpose of restraining the witch. So if Shannon broke it, the person who stood to gain was supposedly the witch herself. And yet, Shannon felt somehow that she had to do it for her own sake. It felt like some premise had been switched around.
わらわはあくまでも褒美としてそなたに思いを成就する機会を与えたに過ぎぬ。
See, it's moments like this where it's like the voice sounds okay. It's still not great in my opinion, but it sounds alright. But then it's when she starts getting a bit more intense with her voice and it gets a bit lower and it's just like, it doesn't feel like it fits at all.
割ろうが割るまいがそなたの自由だ。割ればわらわはそなたの願いを叶える。割らねば今日までの明日が永遠に続く。そなたの願いは永遠に叶うことはない。わかるか？何を言っているか。
The witch was speaking. Couldn't tell. She was pressing Shannon, saying she must break the mirror if she ever wanted to be united with George. It was a declaration that Shannon's feelings would never be brought to fruition unless she broke it.
やめてください。そんなの聞きたくない。
Of course
そ
you
なた
don't.
を苦しめたかったわけではないのだがね。まあいい。愛に苦しさを感じるの人間の醍醐味よ。その感情を存分に楽しむがよい。だが我が力を借りたいと願ったならいつでもあの鏡を割るがよい。そして我が名を叫び呼び覚ますがよい。わらわは必ず約束を守るだろう。これならば文句はあるまい。そなたに今すぐの決断を迫るわけではない。気楽であろう。
Was it really such an easy thing to do? No, it certainly wasn't. To Shannon, who was burning with infatuation and worried by love, being tempted constantly and eternally with a way out was truly a cruel trial.
この約束に期限は設けぬが、願いを叶える魔法には期限がある。その期限はわらわが決めるのではない。そなたの思い人が自ら決める。意味がわかるか？
Yes, if you don't do it before George gets locked down, you fucked. Come on, Shannon. I get it, you have a very basic education, but you gotta be smarter than that.
そなたの思い人が愛のちぎりを結ぶべき相手を決めた時がその期限となる。
What, because Beatrice can't fight against love or some
わ
shit?
らわは魔女だが鬼ではない。互いを愛し合う二人を引き裂く
Oh
魔
wow,
法
okay,
は
spot on. Got it.
持ち合わせていないのでな。そなたの思い人は近いうちに見合いに臨むそうだな。そなたは世界で一番その男のことを思っているかもしれん。だが世界で一番ふさわしいとは限らんぞ。わらわは見合いの相手を知っている。
Oh.
その娘は世界で一番後宮ジョージにふさわしい。良い学校を出て良い成績を残し落ち着きがあって思慮深い。お前より美しくお前より聡明でお前よりふさわしい。
Jesus.
お前のような無知
God
無能無教養
damn.
の娘が
Why does
どう
everyone
して
gotta
ふ
be
さわ
tearing
しかろ
down
うか。
Shannon like this? It's so fucked.
お前が一番知っている。お前が一番ふさわしくない。
Jesus, y'all are fucking assholes.
お前と後宮ジョージが結ばれるなど想像するだけでも罪深い。愚かしいことよ。愚かしい愚かしい身の程知れい。義務教育に行かせてもらった恩も忘れて身の程を知りなさい。ジョージはお父様の血を引く孫の中では嫡男ひょっとしたら未来の後宮家を背負うことになるかもしれない人。その期待に応えるためにたくさんの勉強を重ねて素晴らしい大学に入りそんなジョージと無能無資格無教養な使用人風情が釣り合うと本気でお思い？
やめろ。貴様は誰だ。
Ooh. Damn. Cannon once again stepping up to the witch, huh? At that time, as Shannon held her head, trying to protect her heart from the blade of Beatrice's words, Cannon ran in front of her. Cannon didn't care who this woman was. If this was an enemy tormenting Shannon, whom he loved and respected as a sister, nothing else mattered.
カノン君、下がって。この方は。
It seemed Cannon also realized that the being standing before him was the witch of the portrait. Kind of not that hard to realize when, you know, the giant portrait is right next to you. And also, that she was something to be feared.
シャノンに褒美を取らせたかっただけだが わらわの言葉が過ぎいじめてしまったようだな。それは謝ろう。だが先ほどの約束はそなたへの褒美として残してゆく。わらわの力が必要ならばいつでも呼び出すといい。その方法はすでに教えた。ではこれにて今宵は退散しよう。敵意の眼差しは心地よくあるが美容にはちと悪いのでな。
消えろ。お前が何者か知らないが、お前はシャノンを脅かしている。二度と現れるな。
Kanon's words seem to deeply annoy the witch.
言葉を選ばぬか下船め。わらわは敬う者に寛大だが敬わぬ者には残酷であるぞ。
I hate it when she goes low like that. It just doesn't feel right. While she still smiled, the witch's face began to twist itself. Then an oppressive feeling that couldn't be noticed with any of the five senses gradually filled the room. Even though they couldn't understand it, they immediately realized it was something terrifying. When you swim in the ocean and something large passes by in the water beneath you, you want to escape to land even before you learn what it is. That's exactly what this was like.
おやめください、ベアトリーチェ様。カノン君はまだ子供なんです。言葉遣いについては謝ります。
Kanon placed his body between the witch and Shannon. There was tense sweat on his forehead. At that time, the witch certainly held Kanon's fate in the palm of her hand. She didn't even need to lift a finger. She held a grasp on his fate so tight that a single twist of her smile could easily crush it. Kanon understood that as well. So he started sweating. His knees felt weak. Arms heavy. Mom's spaghetti. However, Beatrice abruptly released that feeling of tension and laughed.
よかろう。そなたが求めるなら特別に許そう。カノンとやら彼女に免じて今宵は許して使わす。感謝するがよいぞ。さて今宵はこれで退散する。別れの挨拶に一つ土産を残そう。二人とも左手の手のひらをこちらへかざせ。
Beatrice grinned broadly and snapped her fingers. Their left hands stretched out in front of them against their will, and their palms opened. Uh-oh. It was a strange sensation, as though only their left hands now belonged to someone else. It felt like only their left hands had become puppets, which were being pulled by strings hanging down from the ceiling.
これは何の真似だ。
Kanon resisted, but he couldn't retract his hand of his own free will.
騒ぐな。すぐに済む。
When Beatrice held her pipe aloft, a gold-covered sparkling dust came out of the smoke and hovered in the air. That sparkle eventually became several gold butterflies. The beautiful butterflies danced freely throughout the reception hall, forming a fantastical and beautiful world. And two of those butterflies alighted on the palms of Shannon's and Kanon's hands. There was a sharp pain, as though they'd been burned, when the two of them tried to examine their palms. That hold on their bodies, which had been there a second ago, had gone without a trace.
おそ、これは。
There was now a tiny burn mark on the palm of her hand, and it was shaped like a butterfly.
これは何の真似だ。
Apparently Kanon had the same mark on his hand. He stared at the witch hatefully.
単なる挨拶よ。他意はない。ただのあざに過ぎぬからほんの数日で言えよう。手当ても必要ない。それはわらわが確かに今日ここにあり、そなたと約束を交わしたことを明日に忘れさせぬための印だ。わらわとの出会いは刺激が強い。
So I've noticed.
翌朝にわらわとの出会いを夢か幻と思い込み忘れようとする人間も
ゆっくり考えるがいいぞ。シャン、そしてゆっくりと休み、明日の朝日に我が印を見て改めて考えてみるがいいだろう。わらわは何も強要せぬ。
Oh, sure, of course you won't.
そなたが自らの意志で自
I
由
will
に
not
未
try
来
to
を
coerce
決める
you.
がいい。
I will only threaten you with being stuck repeating the same days over and over again and ensure that, your greatest wish never comes true. But I'm not trying to coerce you in any way, alright? Of course not. The coercion? Nah, it's not happening here. You're crazy. Accusing me of coercion? Crazy. It's not happening.
もっとも欲する者の対価がその程度で済むとはな。悲恋をテーマに戯曲を書き上げた偉人たちが
It's like when she says, like, listen, I'm doing this for no price at all. I just have a request. Or, no, it's like, I won't ask for anything, but I do have a request. Which is like, a request is when you ask for something. Like, this woman loves to hit you with the listen. I'm not doing this, even though I am very blatantly doing this.
それでは縁があったらまた会おう。久しぶりの会話は実に楽しかったぞ。さらばだ、家具ども。
Huh? Beatrice's body crumbled like smoke and blew away. It was golden smoke. No, a cloud of gold butterflies. They scattered in all directions inside the reception hall, leaving a golden splash before disappearing into thin air. After that, only the cold silence was left. It was so silent it made both of them think they might have been daydreaming until just a moment ago. Which is why the witch had left those marks. She had done so to make it impossible for them to think of it as a daydream. As Shannon and Canon remembered the butterfly bruises on their hands and the pain they'd felt when they'd been made, they kept standing still, stunned, and then, like Nazi's gonna show up and be like, "What are you two doing just standing around here? God damn it, you lazy bastards!" And from that moment on, Shannon was tormented by days of suffering and conflict. Okay. So we're getting a lot of backstory leading up to the actual family conference moment.